When God began developing his people, he gave them 10 basic commandments to help guide their thinking and behavior, to help them break free of the slave mentality under which they'd been living. And the fourth commandment was a good one for freedom. He said, have a Sabbath day of rest and keep it holy. Set it aside for God. God essentially said, you're not a slave anymore. You have a God who's into you. So rest. I command it. And I always find it strange that God would have to command people to rest. I mean, nobody dislikes rest. It should come naturally to people. So why does God have to order it? Why does he command us to make regular rest a sacred thing, a product of obedience and sacrifice to God? In that sense, I almost feel as if the Sabbath commandment is the most quintessential of all the 10 commandments, in that it shows most plainly how we need to be commanded, disciplined, even threatened a little bit to do what's good and appropriate for us. The Sabbath commandment isn't just about rest. It's about rest unto the Lord, a rest day set aside for God. And this idea of setting things aside for God is huge in God's training of his people. It's a vital building block of health and freedom. Setting things aside, sacrificing resources and time for God, is the way we give God space to be otherworldly in our lives. You have to develop the ability to make chunks of your life special. Making a day sacred is a good step toward making yourself different in all sorts of respects. And different often means free. For instance, if you don't have the capacity to dedicate time to God, then you will lack the capacity to rest in general. There's a connection between the ability to sacrifice something to God and the ability to trust God enough to rest at peace in this challenging world. Rest requires trust, and it needs to be practiced regularly. Are you a Sabbath person? Do you have the capacity to set things or time or desires aside for God in a way that makes you free? What would it be like to start practicing that?